So then Ireland opted to bat first, and they did manage to bat the full quota of their 20 overs. The runs on the board might seem underwhelming to Ireland themselves because this seemed like a very good track. Our predictions were in tune with what the track was like. But the score on the board for Ireland is just 128 for 8 at the end of their 20 overs. Harry Tector, Paul Stirling, their top scorers. Wickets galore for the Sri Lankan spinners. Tikshana 2, Hasaranga 2, Lahiru Kumara got 1 wicket, and it just was one of those innings that didn't really get kick-started. Hello and welcome. You're watching Cricbuzz Live. My name is Tanay Tiwari. With me, Mr. Zaheer Khan, Mr. Parthiv Patel. Gentlemen, welcome. And Zach, it would be fair to say that they just never really got going. The runs never really started flowing for the island.
Yes, indeed. Full marks to Sri Lankan bowlers. You look at that bowling card and you know that everyone has contributed. You know, they started well. Early breakthrough again. We talk about setting that tone for the innings, which Sri Lankan bowlers did, getting that early wicket. Paul Stirling was the only guy, you know, along with Tector in the middle order. But from the start, we always knew before the game, it's about Paul Stirling and how he approaches, what kind of impact he will have in this game. If he had played a longish innings, then maybe, you know, these 20-30 runs which you are talking about, you know, in T20 format, you get to 160 runs. Put the team under pressure. If you have a little bit of help with the ball, you can really put any team under pressure. But today's wicket, I felt looked really good to bat on. So considering all those factors, you would say that Ireland will be very, very disappointed with the effort. Felt that they were looking to score too many runs behind the wicket rather than forcing the issue. You know, so that's something which they have to understand. On a good track, you know, you can put bowlers under pressure. When the bowlers know that you're only going to look to use the pace, it becomes that much easier for you to contain. And I think that's something which Ireland needs to take a note of in going forward. I like the approach against one Indu because we've been saying that one Indu is that one bowler who they will find it difficult. But the reverse sweep against him and the shots which the batters, the intent which they're showing, I think something which other teams will definitely take note of, because going forward in this tournament, you know, from Sri Lanka's point of view, the one in the Hasaranga is definitely going to be that important cog, and him needs to be in form. If batters start putting him under pressure, then Sri Lankan bowling will be under pressure in those middle overs. So I think that's one thing which stood out. Apart from that, I think pretty much it was Sri Lanka's way in this innings.
And that's something which we spoke about in Combox also. I thought, you know, they were, you know, when you are playing, the coaches usually say play in the V. So, but Ireland was playing the reverse V. They were trying because wicket was such that you could have, you know, taken your chances playing through the line, and then I thought that options they could have taken. But yeah, when Hasaranga showed something different today, came out with a new action. You know, the people are trying to, you know, play sweep and stuff. So when you bowl with that side arm, it becomes very difficult. Especially it doesn't bounce when you bowl with side arm. So I think that could be one of the reason why he has come up with that you know, Kedar Jadhav action.
The Kedar Jadhav.
That actually has been a little surprising for me, because see, someone who is able to turn the ball big, right? As a leg spinner, if I'm turning the ball big, and then I'm using this as a variation, then it's a good variation because you are actually creating something new. But when you look at one Indu Hasaranga, usually he bowls, his strength is googly, and then he bowls those sliders which gets him wickets. By doing this, he's not, apart from maybe, you know, little lower bounce, he's not really achieving much. So I don't think for him this kind of a style is going to give a lot of reward. We'll have to wait and see how he goes. But I think, you know, some other variation which will actually take the ball away from the right-hander will be very potent for him. But not this one. It didn't look like, you know, he's doing anything different, because the ball is still going to slide in. Apart from that maybe low bounce or low trajectory, there's nothing much in that.
As a batter also, I mean, apart from the fact that it may be surprising at the first instance when you see that, does it really make a lot of difference apart from that?
Not really. I mean, if you're playing it for the first time, it might surprise you, as you rightly put it. But I think as a batter, you would be happy that, you know, the bowler is drifting away from his strength. You know, that his strength is the leg spins, his strength is googly sliders, but he is drifting away from his strength. So as a batter, you would want, you actually force bowlers to, you know, try and get away from there. If fast bowler is swinging, you want him to bowl slower ones. So if a leg spinner is spinning the ball, you want him to bowl sliders or you want him to bowl with a different kind of thing. So sometimes when bowler does it, as a batter, you feel okay, he's under pressure, he's trying something new. I think this is a time where you try and take him on.
Yeah. Especially on a day like this when wickets were galore for the spinners, you wouldn't really want to try that many options. But Hasaranga did, and they still got a lot of wickets. Tikshana was perhaps the pick of the bowlers. The way he bowled, his variations were on point, you'd say, Zach?
Yeah, he's good. He's always at the stumps. So for any batter, you got to be watchful. If you miss the ball, there's always a chance that you will lose the wicket. So in this format, you've seen bowlers like that will always have an impact. There is a little bit of mystery element to his bowling as well, which works as an added advantage for him. So I think Sri Lanka, like we spoke before the start of the game, in this tournament you can't really rule them out. They've shown those signs. Taking the injuries aside, I think this side going forward in the tournament will definitely cause some kind of a concern to many teams.
Yeah. And even for Ireland, Parthiv, I mean, we talk about their batting and the fact that they couldn't really get to a point where they would have had a score of in the proximity of around 140, 160. But there was some sort of a rebuilding there between Tector and Dockrell in the middle. And you can see that reflecting in the innings progression as well. Between 11 and 15, suddenly the run rate started seeming good when you had just that one partnership.
Yeah, it's all about partnership in T20 cricket. We try and underestimate this thing. But especially if someone has played 20, 30 balls, then you suddenly in the other 15 balls you get to 30 because you are set. And even bowlers also think that if he's set now, he's going to take more chances. So that's when you get a lot of loose deliveries. So I thought they did really well. At the 10 over mark, they were 60 for 4, and in last 10 overs they got 70. And so 130 is score where they can give something to their bowlers. So if Sri Lanka are say 5 for 2 or 10 for 2, they might make a game out of this. So I think Ireland did well to play well in last 10 overs, but every time it looked like they are building a partnership, the wicket fell. So with Paul Sterling was batting really well. He took the right option, but he got out. And in T20 cricket, this kind of things will happen. You will have to take your chances, and sometimes it comes up, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. So 129 for Sri Lanka to chase. They also bat very, very deep. They've got a lot of options, but they have a starting problem now with no Pathum Nissanka there, something that we also discussed at the 10th over mark in Cricbuzz Combox. But they feel right now the halfway mark, Zach, that they have enough firepower to gun this down.
Comfortably. I think they'll be very disappointed or something miraculous have to happen for them to lose this game, or if they make the mess of it. Like these are the kind of games where you'll just see and think that it's Sri Lanka's game to lose. If they mess it up, they will lose it. But if you just stick to basics, you have enough time. The wicket has played well. When you look at that bowling lineup of Ireland, you will not think that there are those threatening names which can cause any serious damage. Having said that, in this format, you've seen funny things happen, and that's what they say, that you can't really relax till the time game is over. So I think that's the kind of approach Sri Lanka should have. Don't get complacent. Just approach the game with basics. Stick to the basics. You don't have to rush things. But this doesn't mean that you're supposed to be overcautious or you shouldn't put the bad balls away. You just go in with a simple cricketing approach, and you should be able to get the total hand. You got to have a good start. For Ireland to make the game out of this, you need that spark, and if that spark comes in, particularly in low totals, you have those early 2 wickets, and suddenly you'll see the batting lineup under pressure, and then things can happen. But if Sri Lanka avoids that, then it should be an easy sailing.
For Ireland, it's simple. Go out all tilt, the full tilt. Go out and attack.
Yeah, they don't have a choice. If 129, they don't have a choice. I think if they don't take wickets in first 4-5 overs, I think game's done then. It will all be about wickets. If Sri Lanka bats out 16-17 overs, I think they're more. I'm expecting the game should be finished in 16th, 17th over. But from Sri Lanka's point of view, obviously they should think that it is first inning. We are just starting in 129. Put yourself into a situation. From there, if they are 100 for 2 or 3 in 12 overs, try and get those 30 runs in 2-3 overs. Get your run rate up, because that will also come into play.
Especially in this group.
Yeah, later part in the tournament. So I think they'll have to think in both sides. First, put yourself into a situation where you're in a winning position and then try and just finish it off as early as possible.
Yeah. Also, I think there's some hidden motive in PP saying that finish this early, because all of us are also looking forward to that one game, India versus Pakistan in Melbourne. We're building up to that. There's still some time to go for that one. But the latest weather updates from Melbourne say that it's cloudy, it's windy, but it's not raining at all. So the bowlers are going to have a field day today, Zach. Seems like it.
Two crucial ingredients for any bowler to build that recipe nicely. You know, you have the overcast conditions and you have the wind. Hopefully that wind is from the side and not from
the either ends of
the either ends. Because then the bowler who is bowling with the wind will have to have that added advantage. But if it's sideways, then you'll see swing as well. And that's something which we'll have to wait and see how it evolves.
Yeah. Any advice to the bowlers? They may be listening right now. They still have some time before they deposit their phones.
Get excited, but you still have to get the ball in the right area.
Yes.
So in these kind of conditions, at times, you know what can happen.
You get
you can get overexcited.
Okay, all right.
Because there is a lot of movement, a lot of help.
Okay.
So at times you lose focus because you are trying to do too many things. You know, when conditions are in your favor, when conditions are helping you, you got to keep things very simple. You know, get the ball in the right area. That's where the help is going to be on offer. But when there is a lot of help in the pitch, at times you start trying too many things, and that can at times go against you.
Any advice from PPpedia?
I think there is no one better than Zaheer Khan swing. I don't like. I mean, there's nothing more to add to it. I think that's the basic. You know, just before, when things are helping you, you have everything in your favor. You just got to stick to basic and try and put the ball in right area.
Stick to basics. From Mumbai to the MCG, we've relayed our message. We'll of course continue talking about the India-Pakistan game. But that's all the time that we have right now on Cricbuzz Live. 129 for Sri Lanka to get. Thank you, PP. Thank you, Zach, for joining in. Thank you to all of you as well. We'll of course see you at the 10th over mark with Cricbuzz Combox, and then on the end of the game with Cricbuzz Live. That's all on Cricbuzz Live right now. Thank you for watching.